Welcome to the Sleepy Underworld, a place where romance blooms, magic sparkles, and timeless fairy tales are reimagined for the dreamers of today. From heart-stirring romances to spellbinding adventures, every story is a soothing escape into a realm of love, wonder, and charm. So curl up, press play, and let us carry you away to the land of dreams. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We'd love to know in what part of the world you are watching and what is your favorite tip for a good night's sleep. Thank you for watching and enjoy the video. Ailee's choice. My brush trembled against the canvas as twilight crept through my studio windows, bringing with it the scent of salt air and wild roses that climbed the weathered walls. My fingers, stained with ultramarine and silver, worked to capture the face that haunted my dreams, a face I knew better than my own, though I'd never seen it in waking life. Until today. The wooden floorboards of my centuries-old studio still held the day's warmth beneath my bare feet. Scattered around me, dozens of canvases caught the dying light, each one showing variations of the same mysterious features: eyes that held the depth of ocean trenches, a jaw carved by time itself, and lips that seemed to hide ancient secrets. Some paintings were small enough to hold in one hand, others towered over me, but all bore the same ethereal quality that had earned me both fame and whispers of otherworldliness in the small coastal town of Haven Cove. The morning everything changed had dawned heavy with fog, thick enough to muffle the eternal song of waves against the shore. The air tasted of brine and possibilities as I made my way down the worn wooden steps to the beach, my usual array of supplies bundled in my arms. The damp sand squeaked beneath my feet, leaving perfect impressions that filled slowly with seawater, each one a tiny mirror reflecting the pearl gray sky. Then I saw him. He stood at the water's edge where the sea met the shore, his dark coat rippling in the salt breeze like raven's wings. As if pulled by an invisible thread, he turned, and my world tilted on its axis. Every brushstroke, every dream, every countless hour I'd spent attempting to capture his likeness paled before the reality of him. "The paintings don't do you justice," were his first words to me, his voice carrying notes of distant shores and ancient songs. "Though you've captured my soul perfectly, Ailee." My name on his lips sent shivers across my skin like the first touch of winter frost. "How do you know my name?" The words emerged as barely more than a whisper, nearly lost in the sound of breaking waves. He moved toward me with fluid grace, and I noticed that his feet left no impressions in the wet sand. The fog swirled around him like a living thing, creating halos in the weak morning light. "I know everything about you," he said, close enough now that I could see the constellation of freckles across his cheeks, exactly as I had painted them countless times. "My name is Nader, and I've crossed oceans of time to find you." The truth spilled from him like water from a broken dam. He spoke of an ancient curse laid upon him by a goddess whose love he had spurned, not out of cruelty, but because his heart recognized even then that it belonged to another soul not yet born. The goddess, in her fury, had bound him to an eternal search. He had 30 days to find his true love and convince her to bind her soul to his, or he would fade from existence. "How many times have you searched?" I asked, my artist's eye noting how the rising sun transformed his dark hair into a crown of living flame. "This is my last chance," he admitted, his eyes holding shadows deeper than the ocean itself. "The curse allows 3 attempts across all of time. I've failed twice before, unwilling to bind another soul to this fate unless I was certain." His hand reached for mine but stopped just short of touching. "But I've never found you before, never felt this certainty." Despite the impossible nature of his tale, something deep within my soul recognized its truth. I had always felt out of step with time itself, as if I had been born in the wrong century. My art had been my only anchor, and now I understood why. I had been painting him, waiting for him, my whole life. The days that followed unfolded like pages in a fairy tale, but filled with sensory delights that proved their reality. Nader taught me to read the secret language of stars, his fingers tracing constellations against my palm as we lay in the cool sand. He showed me how to listen to the wind's ancient stories, how to feel the earth's heartbeat beneath my feet, and how to see the magic that threaded through everyday life like gold through common rock. In my studio, he posed for me as I painted, our conversations flowing like the tide, sometimes deep and philosophical, sometimes playful as summer rain. He told me of the worlds he had seen, the lives he had lived, while I shared my dreams, my fears, and the loneliness that had always lingered beneath my skin like a shadow. We danced on the beach at midnight, our bare feet moving through the foam as bioluminescent waves created trails of living light around us. His touch left trails of warmth on my skin that lingered like sunlight, and when he kissed me for the first time, I tasted salt and starlight and centuries of longing. But time, as always, moved relentlessly forward. I watched the moon wane in the sky, counting down the days with increasing desperation. I noticed how Nader's form began to waver at the edges when he thought I wasn't looking, how he sometimes seemed to fade like a watercolor left in the rain. During storms, which grew more frequent as the deadline approached, I could almost see through him when lightning flashed. On the 29th night, as thunder shook the foundations of my studio, I finally asked the question that had been burning in my throat. What exactly does it mean to bind my soul to yours? What would I become? Lightning illuminated the room, highlighting Nader's increasingly transparent form. You would share my immortality, he explained, his voice carrying over the storm's fury. We would become guardians of love itself, bound to help others find their destined partners until the last star burns out. We would have eternity together, but never a true home, never a moment of complete rest. And if I refuse? The pain in his eyes cut deeper than any blade. Then I become less than a memory, a story untold, a song unsung. Even your paintings of me would fade to a blank canvas, as if I had never existed at all. That night, sleep eluded me. I walked the beach until dawn, the warm summer air heavy against my skin. I watched the stars wheel overhead, thinking of all the paintings I had created of his face before I knew him. Had my soul been reaching across time itself, recognizing its other half? Was love still love if fate had decreed it? But then again, wasn't all love a kind of fate? The final night arrived with a sky so clear it hurt to look at, each star burning with the intensity of truth. The full moon hung low and heavy over the water, turning the ocean to liquid silver. Nader waited for me at our usual spot, his form now so transparent that I could see the waves through his body. The sand was cool beneath my feet as I approached him, small crystals of quartz catching the moonlight like scattered diamonds. The air hummed with possibility and power, and I felt destiny holding its breath. "Before you speak," Nader said, his voice carrying the weight of uncertainty, "know that these past weeks have been worth every moment of searching. Loving you, Ailee, has been worth every second of the centuries I've walked this earth." I looked at him then, really looked, seeing every dream that had ever woken me in the night, every unexplained yearning that had led my brush across countless canvases. I thought of the life I had planned, quiet days in my studio, simple pleasures, the comfort of routine. Then I thought of the life he offered, adventure, magic, purpose, and a love that had moved through time to find me. When I made my choice, it felt like the final piece of a puzzle sliding into place. I stepped forward, pressing my palm against Nader's chest where his heart beat in time with the waves. My soul has been yours since before time knew our names, I whispered. I choose you. I choose us. I choose eternity. The moon pulsed overhead like a living heart as our lips met. Magic surged through my body like electricity through water, transforming my cells one by one until I glowed with the same inner light as Nader. I felt my consciousness expand, stretching to encompass centuries instead of decades, gathering wisdom and power like a river gathering tributaries. When we parted, the world had transformed through my new eyes. I could see the golden threads of fate that connected all living things. I felt the turn of the earth beneath my feet. I heard the music of the spheres that kept the planets dancing in their orbits. Nader's smile was radiant as he took my hand, both of us now shimmering with the same otherworldly light. Where our fingers intertwined, sparks of silver and gold danced in the air. "Ready to begin forever?" he asked, as the first light of dawn painted the horizon in shades of rose and pearl. I squeezed his hand, feeling the infinity of possibilities stretching out before us like an endless ocean. "Ready?" Together we walked toward the rising sun, leaving behind footprints that glowed with starlight before being claimed by the eternal tide. Above us, the moon lingered in the morning sky, a silent witness to a promise fulfilled, a curse transformed into a blessing, and a love story that would echo through the ages. In my studio, the paintings remained, now infused with a subtle magic that would call to other souls searching for their destiny across the vast ocean of time. And sometimes, on nights when the moon is full and the air tastes of magic, visitors to Haven Cove swear they can see two figures dancing on the waves, their forms wreathed in starlight, their love a beacon guiding other lost souls home.